One last story. Filmmaker that I know, this was not his first film, it was his third film. His first couple of films were very low budget, little higher budget, a bigger film. Then he gets he writes a script that everyone loves, and somebody in the industry says, I'll give you $4 million. Cool, this is the way it's supposed to be. Jumping the ladder, jumping the ladder, jumping the ladder. He said, okay, now all the people in the world, who do I want to act the main part? Cillian Murphy. Name, right? It's expensive now. Cillian Murphy agrees to be in the film, and they start looking around for the girl. It's a love story. And all of a sudden, the $4 million disappears. Chasing the deal. He said, I'm not going to be chasing the deal, I got 25,000 euros. This was a musical, by the way. He had hired a busker in Dublin to write 10 songs, which he had. So he goes back to the busker and says, well, guess what? Cillian Murphy's bailed out. How would you like to perform the songs? The guy's a good singer. The guy says, well, I've never acted before. No, it's okay. Let's do that. Okay. He gets the guy to agree to it. So now he's got the singer, songwriter, lyricist, actor in his film. One person to clear all these different rights. It's a shrewd move, isn't it? Then he said, well, I got this idea for the girl that you're going to fall in love with in the movie. She's 40 years old. And he said, oh, really? Don't know about this anymore. And then he goes off to Prague to busk for that summer, just 2 summers ago. And there in the streets of Prague, he meets another busker who's 17 years old. This guy's about 30. And a relationship forms, and a chemistry, and personal chemistry, and a musical chemistry. Comes back to Dublin and says to the producer, the director says, hey, how about this 17-year-old? And they played a song, and the director went, wow, that's really good. Now the director had 25,000 euros, which is more than half of you in this room, but half of you in this room, when we went around already, said you get 25,000 quid, 25,000 euros. So I know half of you people in this room could do this movie tomorrow if you had the script and the actors. They shot the film for 25,000 euros, made a rough tape, and they needed to do tweaking the sound and so on. And then they got another 75,000 euros from the Irish Film Board, the equivalent of the Film Council, to really do a lot of work on ADR and Foley and really sweeten what's called sweeten the soundtrack. And they're really, really proud of it. And they submitted to every festival in the world. Guess what happened? All the festivals said no. So now they're falling back into plan B, which is take it around to little community halls in Ireland with a stack of CDs of the album, get 20, 30 people, show the film, try to sell 5 or 10 CDs, make 50, 60 quid, go on and do the next one. And they figured they would do that for a whole year, hoping to get the bit of the money back for the director. And at that time, then they submitted their film to the Cork Film Festival, which is in August, and they got accepted. Wow. So the whole family and all the filmmakers, all the relatives go off to Cork to see their film in a film festival. And it's playing at 6:30 at night in the prime slot. And 2 summers ago, if you remember, it was very rainy. And on the day of their screening in Cork was the only day that summer that the sun shone. No clouds. And late afternoon, late August, is that hazy, sunny, warm thing. And you got a choice for your entertainment. Movie in a dark black box, or a drink on the terrace. The whole town went to drink on the terrace. So they're standing on the steps of the cinema afterwards, sort of clapping each other back, saying, well, guess we'll get the van and do some touring. When this geek in a suit shows up and says, hey, I really loved your film, American, I really love your film. I work for the Sundance Film Festival. I'm one of the team that chooses films for the Sundance Film Festival. And they didn't tell him, of course, they'd just been turned down. And so the film got into the Sundance Film Festival and was discovered. Check. Came out, did $10 million in American cinema, which is really unusual. One of the people who stumbled into that film this last summer was Bob Dylan. He's listening to the music, he's watching the film, and going, geez, it is, when you see it, darling, cute, sweetheart film that just leaves your heart at the end like this. The juices flying over the place, and the love story with no kissing, no touching, no fucking, nothing. Just nothing. They don't even touch. Love story. Amazing. and he hired the musician to back him on his tour, which starts in about 2 weeks. The film is called Once. When we played it at Raindance, Mick Jones of The Clash, this punker was one of the jurors, saw it. He said to me a week later, he said, you know that song, the piano in the shop? I can't get that song out of my head. Do you know what happened this week? The Grammy nominations get announced in America. It gets 2 nominations. One, Best CD, like music soundtrack, and Best Original Song. Now how cool is that? Had he stopped and waited to get the 4 mil, again with Cillian Murphy, do you know what? Nobody would have noticed. It's been another one of those Euro pudding films that come out that just passes and goes. But the difference between that film and Once is he actually did it, not with what he wanted to have, but with what he physically had. Big, big difference. I could go on all night telling you stories like this.